Welcome back to the Travel Review Crew. Right here on the Ottawa River in Gatineau, just across from Parliament Hill, is the Canadian Museum of History, home of towering totem poles, sweeping architecture, and stories that reach back thousands of years. Want to take a peek inside and see if it belongs on your Ottawa museum list? Let's go check it out. Good morning, everyone. We are here at the Museum of History in Ottawa, Ontario. We're going to give you a bit of a tour of it today. It used to be called the Museum of Civilization, but they changed that name a few years ago. Let's take a look inside. Now, if you're parking here, it's quite simple. The museum has a 2-level underground garage with direct access, and you pay with your credit card coming in or out. Rates max out at $18 a day with a clearance of just under 2 meters or about 6'4". While it's pretty safe in this area, I still wouldn't leave stuff in the car. So if you're worried about your collectibles or if you're traveling with luggage, you can put them in these lockers. This museum is very family friendly and has a number of elevators. So whether you're coming with a stroller or you're coming in with a wheelchair, it is very accessible. If you've selected to come here by rideshare or taxi, it will bring you to this front entrance, which is pretty iconic. If you've been to Washington, D.C., then you might recognize this style. The National Museum of the American Indian was also designed by architect Douglas Cardinal. Here at the Canadian Museum of History, his signature curves flow like rivers and hills, symbolizing harmony with the land and continuity of stories. You know what I love about this? I love that I've lived in this area, and I never knew that this was a face. I don't know why I didn't know that. I just never knew that until literally last week. Isn't that crazy? The museum's website confirms that the main entrance can be read as a face or a mask welcoming you in. Across from the main museum is a collections conservation center where millions of artifacts not on display are carefully preserved behind the scenes. Just to show you around a little bit, there are also other areas like a Zen garden and the Riverview Salon, which can be rented for events. But look at this. It's right across the way from Parliament Hill. So if you want a great picture of Parliament Hill, this is a fantastic spot for that. So this museum is pretty historic for a number of reasons. It was opened in 1989 in a ceremony led by Governor General Jean Sauvé, who was our first female Governor General at the time, and it was called the Museum of Civilization. Folks that are from Ottawa will probably always call it the Museum of Civilization, but it changed to the Museum of History in 2013 to shift the focus to Canada's story while moving past colonial language and honoring Indigenous histories. All right, here we go. You can buy your tickets online or at the self-service desk, which is what we did on this day. General admission to the Canadian Museum of History is generally around the $24 mark for adults, with reduced rates for senior students and youth. Children under 2 are free, and that includes access to the Children's Museum. This part of the museum is where kids can travel the world, essentially from Japan to Mexico, through hands-on play and discovery. Be sure to pick up your museum guide as you come in because it helps you plan your visit. It'll show you what's on each level and kind of give you a sense of how much time you need for each area. Before you head down to see the totems, head up because you're going to have a pleasant surprise at the very top of this escalator. This is a piece done by Bill Reed, who's a Haida artist from British Columbia. It's called Chief of the Undersea World. I love this piece. Wowza, it's huge. Stand beside it just for context. Yeah, look at that. That is huge. Wow. While doing some research on this piece, I found out that in the Haida belief, the killer whale, also known as Skana, is a spirit being that is often seen as the ruler or the guardian of the ocean realms. This sculpture's posture with its arched back, poised to dive, is supposed to evoke motion and power and connection to the sea. This piece of art was created in 1984. It's worth taking the escalator to the top to see this piece because it is absolutely gorgeous. So now we're going to head down the escalator and we're heading down to the Grand Hall, or people often call the Hall of Totems, right? This Grand Hall exhibit is devoted to Indigenous cultures of the Canadian Pacific Northwest and features the museum's collection of totem poles. It's often described as holding the largest indoor collection of totem poles. And in this hall, you're going to see reconstructed house facades alongside the poles, and it helps to contextualize how they may have stood within the community settings themselves. The design is intended to let natural light in to play along with the pole's design so that you can see sort of different viewpoints depending on where you're standing through the big windows that are there. Just gorgeous. We love every part of this area. Yeah. So totem poles are sacred objects that you're not supposed to touch. I learned that. Oh wow, look, I just love this up here. Like check this out. As someone who comes from colonial roots, I can tell you that I have mixed feelings about this location. I love these totem poles because they're more than art. They're sacred monuments. They carry history and ancestral information and spiritual meaning. But it's also really important to remember that these poles are here because of colonial collecting practices. They were taken from communities where they once stood as living symbols of cultural identity. One positive of them being here is that it allows for wider audiences to witness, learn, and respect the histories that they hold. So it keeps the stories alive for future generations, nonetheless. Many of the installations have Indigenous singing and or music in the background to add to the atmosphere, but also to add to the cultural significance of what you're looking at. Inside the Grand Hall itself, there's house fronts that open up into small galleries filled with masks, regalia, and tools that bring these village spaces to life for you. Those trunks.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that incredible?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very detailed. Oh, beautiful.
Whoa, look at that trunk. That's awesome.
Right? I highly recommend that you just take your time looking at these beautiful pieces of art because they are absolutely stunning. Most of these were carved in either the 1800s or the early 1900s, so they're quite old and are just, I don't know, they're just amazing to look at. That one's really cool because look, abalone, it looks like abalone shell in the wood. Very cool. So Ralph is asking which is our favorite totem pole of all of the totem poles that are in. And by the way, this museum has the largest amount of totem poles in one space in Canada, at least. I don't know if it's global. I'll have to look up that. I'm not sure which one. Yeah, it is hard to decide.
I always like the one that has the, I don't know if that's the big beak.
Oh, the one with the raven, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
It's painted. Yeah. This one here. You know what? I kind of like this one because it's carved all the way to the top. Yeah. I love that.
favorite places in the city, the Great Hall here. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I do miss the raven sound.
Yeah, they used to have a raven sound going in the background here, and I do miss that because it kind of reminds you of the West Coast. If you've ever been out to BC, you'll know that you'll hear the ravens all the time out there. But that's okay. It's still pretty awesome. Lightning House Pool. Originally carved and erected in the Haida village of Chapo. Neat. Let's see here. Let's take a look up. Look up. Look way up. Wow. Remember the orca from Bill Reed? Well, this one's called the Spirit of Haida Gwaii, and it's a canoe packed with beings from the Haida mythology. Raven, bear mother, eagle, and others, they crowd together, and apparently it symbolizes complexity and vitality of the Haida culture. Talk about driftwood, Ralph.
What's that?
So talk about driftwood.
Oh.
Look at all this driftwood here.
Look at that piece there. It's beautiful.
Ralph has a thing for driftwood. Look at the size of this canoe. Like, what the heck? Like, it goes on forever. Wowzer. I don't think Ralph and I could get enough of the appreciation for the Haida Gwaii art style. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Just past Grand Hall, look up in the dome. In that salon is the Morning Star, which was painted by Alex Janvier in 1993. It's said to symbolize creation, spirit, and the connection between the sky and the earth. The First People Hall is an exhibition space that explores the stories of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples from time immemorial to now. Wowzer. So apparently, this coat was actually worn by Louis Riel. Right? That's pretty cool. History here is told through stories, and the following story you're going to see moved me as I watched it. If you have a minute, stop into the Creation Stories Theatre, because this theatre shows and tells stories of creation through Indigenous art. If you want to learn about Indigenous peoples, this is a fantastic place to do it. You'll learn about life on the land, their worldviews and knowledge systems, their cultural resilience and continuity, and the impacts of colonialism on their lives. And it's a great blend because it talks about the past, but it also brings it back and highlights the resilience and the strength of living today. I love this cool piece of art because it's actually made with motherboards and copper pieces, but it's meant to imitate the Morning Star design that are often painted on buffalo hides by their elders, by the women elders. I just love that it's made of copper and motherboards. It's like a modern take on an old-fashioned, or a traditional, I should say.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. My primary brush is Ojibwe. My secondary brushes are Northern Swampy Cree. The detail brushes are like the Blackfoot. All my brushes have names. The Cherokee brush was always my favorite. My Indianness is depth within me. Arthur Schilling, Anishinaabe Ojibwa. Beautiful beadwork. So if you're not from Canada, you might not know this, but the Indian residential school system operated in Canada for over a century, and it removed Indigenous children from their families and communities into church-run boarding schools. The children were abused, often neglected, and died at these schools. And in 2021, mass unmarked graves were confirmed near several former residential school sites. Raven, creator and protector. And in its beak, the seed of life. Calls the spirits of the residential school victims home. This memorial was created by artist Stanley C. Hunt. It features 130 hand-carved faces representing a child who did not return. It's kind of hard not to notice the upside-down black cross, which marks the darkness of it all, and the orange color, which has now become known for truth and remembrance of what happened. This memorial is here on a permanent basis. This bright and colorful piece is called The Indian in Transition by Daphne Ojik. It's a massive mural and apparently represents the resilience of Indigenous peoples that have had to move through change. On a lighter note, there are Olympic torches here on display. There are 8 in total that were either from Canadian Olympics or held by Canadians in those Olympics. And I'm pretty sure this is the largest stamp collection in all of Canada with over 3,000 stamps. Stamp collections. The Canadian History Hall is the museum's signature exhibition. It opened after a major refurb in 2017 to celebrate Canada's 150th. It spans 15,000 years of history across 44,000 square feet of space. Beginning with Indigenous creation stories, the hall unfolds in 18 chapters that explore the people, events, and turning points that shaped this land. Look, hon. It's a shark tooth. A megalodon tooth. Check that out. You can actually touch this tooth.
Awesome.
Right? These teeny tiny little carvings. Like, this is my finger.
Right there.
That's crazy.
Beautiful.
Such detail, like in these little carvings. Wow. Learning about the Europeans was interesting because they didn't shy away from the history here. We learned the impacts of Martin Frobisher's voyages, including capturing of 2 men, a woman, and a child that he brought back to England to show them off. They apparently all died soon after the trip. It's a very comfortable chair.
There's actually quite a number of nice comfortable places to sit in here.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you get some views along the way too. In this section, there's really a mix of maps and portraits that sit side by side to each other. There we go. British North America. In the colonial era, we move into British rule, settler governance, and all the institutions and conflicts that followed as a result.
Canadian race.
So you don't need to be in the Children's Museum to get activities to do. There are interactive locations throughout the museum, including this one where you trace using a stencil system. I was having trouble with it, but it worked anyways. Yeah, it feels more modernized. I like it. It's improved in here, that's for sure.
I kind of liked it before too, though. Because
Yeah.
it really gave you a sense of being out west.
I love this painting, sort of inset, so it gives you an impression of what it would be like in the boat or in the canoe. That's very well done. Every First Nation group was represented in this museum, and there was also information on the RCMP's beginnings. This is the St. Onofrius Ukrainian Catholic Church, moved piece by piece from the prairies and rebuilt here in the museum. Still consecrated, it's the largest artifact in the History Hall and a living symbol of Canada's immigrant faith communities. So on the third level is the Modern Canada Gallery, which covers life from 1914 to today. All things from war and politics to residential schools to nationalism to multiculturalism and immigration are covered here. While this museum does show Canada's participation in the world wars and the conflicts that come later, I'm going to recommend that you go to our War Museum video in the Ottawa playlist to learn more about our National War Museum. And did you know that we also went to the National Art Gallery and covered the Group of Seven in that video, as well as many other Canadian artists? Well, if you haven't watched that yet, I'm going to invite you to go to our playlist because that's also a really great video to watch. Tommy Douglas. We have him to thank for Medicare in Canada. First publicly funded medical insurance system in Canada was 1961. That's how long we've had socialized medical care in Canada. And we enter the 60s and 70s here in Canada. Electric guitar belonging to Randy Bachman. Nice. I like how we're sitting here just singing on Rio, Rio, Rio. Rio. A place to stand, a place to go. Rio, Rio. There were a number of very serious topics that were addressed in this section, and there was also some lighthearted ones too. You know, to the great white north. You know, you know. I want to take a moment again to reflect on the fact that this museum does not shy away from the difficult history that Canada has had, in particular with respect to our Indigenous brothers and sisters. The notion of residential schools, the children that were taken from their families. We see the quotes here of the living conditions, the people that are still alive today, the storytellers. It's heart-wrenching, but powerful and so, so, so important. 147 locations. You know that at every single one of these there's probably hundreds of bodies. Like, unbelievable. Nice. Oh no, get your hand off of his head. I mean, it's not nice. Awesome. Want to learn about the October crisis, the FLQ bombings, and the use of the War Measures Act, as well as the referendums for separation? Well, they got you covered there too. Je me souviens très bien. Oh, look at these puppets. Let's see. That is cool. That's very Land of Confusion-esque, right?
Very nice.
Oh my goodness. The retro exhibit here dives into Canada's music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I love this. Parental advisory. Ooh. Then you know it's going to be good.
Ah.
Let's do this. Rock and roll. Woo! Northern Pikes. The Grapes of Wrath. Do you remember them?
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. I love the Grapes of Wrath. This draft shows an early version of the song's chorus with revisions to the lyrics.
Wow.
Kept a few trees, put in a big museum. They had a really fantastic collection of artifacts and pictures and guitars. It was so much fun. Trooper. Gonna get copyrighted on that one. And for the Rush fan that is my husband, this was a pretty nice highlight for him. Oh, this is her outfit from that competition. Eurovision. Wow, okay. Look at how tiny she was. Oh my goodness. Steppenwolf. Nice. Flying V. Andy Bachman's guitar. Yeah, it's neat. So I've been to a number of museum gift shops, and I'm going to tell you this one's right up there near the top. It has great quality products, great selection, really great gift ideas here. Hey, Ralph. We need a new salt and pepper shaker, right? Ralphie? We need a new pepper shaker. Look, it's $92, but you know, salt, pepper.
Nice. Yeah.
Aren't they beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
All right, to be clear, I wasn't paying $92 for a salt and pepper shaker, but they were gorgeous to look at. Let's just be clear about that, though. Looking for something with a Canada flag or a maple leaf? Got you covered. So I couldn't wrap my head around how much stuff was in this store, from oven mitts to purses to children's stuff. It was kind of mind-blowing. Check this out, Ralphie. Look at this toque. The embroidery on this toque. Come on.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Is it comfortable?
It's very comfortable.
Yeah?
It's very soft and warm.
Oh, there you go. Maybe you should get it. These are really nice because they've got the embroidered. Like, look at this one here. Check that out. That's nice.
That's nice.
That's really nice. I was going to say, you can tell how Canadian we are because we're looking at the toques.
The toques.
Yeah. Man, they even got Christmas decorations here. And they got like these little mini ones too. $8. Nice. Jewelry. Puzzles, for if you're into puzzling. Oh wow, I like this one a lot. I might have to get this. I really like puzzles and I love Tom Thompson. And it's only $24. Not bad. They got postcards and cards. I love these. I love that. Does Jake need a new wallet? Because this Sasquatch one has his name all over it.
I don't know.
Like, look at these ties. Oh, I love the stuff in here. Ooh. The museum now has a Cine Plus theater, which used to be IMAX, but is now a digital projection theater. Oh yeah, check it out. That's awesome.
Not there for what's over there.
This theater shows a number of films and documentaries and can be actually rented for events and presentations. Pricing for the Cine Plus evening films are $10 for adults. In the downstairs area, you can go to the Panorama Cafe, which serves hot meals with a great river view, or you can go to the Second Cup here for a coffee and a quick bite. They also have a coat check if you want to change your shoes in the middle of the winter or take that coat off. And that pretty much covers our trip to the Museum of History. Let me tell you that this place is great for the whole family, especially kids and history buffs. We've spent hours here with our own kids, and the curators here are always updating the exhibits to keep things fresh. We highly recommend a visit, and don't forget to check out our Ottawa playlist for more museum videos to help you plan your next trip. Until next time, folks, we'll see you on the next adventure.